Yo, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a 2025 mock draft for the NBA draft that is actually coming in extremely hot. I mean, it's about a week and a half out, if that. Man, it might be like a week out actually. I don't know the exact date, but I know it's coming in hot. So I'm super stoked. I think there could be a lot of trades before and on draft night. I think once the NBA Finals ends, we're going to see the Kevin Durant trade, maybe other trades. Once the KD trade happens, that could open the floodgates. I'm very excited to see who is traded on draft night. And before draft night, it's gonna be very exciting. And I'm also excited to see where these guys go, because I think there's a lot of there's not a lot of consensus right now. You got the top two guys, and then after that, there's not really a consensus for where these guys are going to go. So I'm very excited to see what the GMs think of these guys. I've been watching a lot of mock drafts recently. I'm doing a lot of mock drafts on my own time recently, and there's all my mock drafts are pretty much different. There's a lot of variety in my mock drafts, and when I watch mock drafts out there, there's just so many different opinions on these players. As I said, there's not a lot of consensus. I mean, so I'm very excited to see where these guys go when it comes to what the actual NBA GMs think, and the actual NBA draft, not all these mock drafts. I'm excited to see where these guys go in the real draft. So let's get started. First pick, go Cooper Flag. It's a no-brainer move. He's a do-it-all wing. Slides right into that Dallas Mavericks starting lineup. I think he's going to be a flawless fit with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. I'm very excited to see what the Mavericks team can do. It stinks that Kyrie is injured probably for half to 3/4 of the season, but getting him back healthy, I think that you got a legit team there. A lot of size, a lot of defense, a deep team as well. See if they can move for Drew Holiday. It's very much could be a possibility. I do think they need to get a guard. I think Lonzo Ball would be a phenomenal acquisition. A good culture guy, high level passer, defender, a floor spacer as well. So I'm excited to see what they do. I think Lonzo would be a great target. There's other guys out there they could go after. And yeah, very excited to see what the Mavericks do. They got handed a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. You jump from like the 14th or 13th odds. Holy, 1.8% chance, I believe it was. Like, come on, man, that's absurd, bro. I'm very excited to see what they do. I could see them being a top 3 team in the West. Simple as that. They're a very loaded team. Very excited to see what they are going to do in the short term and long term with Cooper Flag. It's going to be exciting times in Dallas. Pick 2. So, and I forgot to mention, this draft is going to be a no trades draft. It's just going to be what I would do at each selection. I probably will come out with a trades mock draft in the coming days. He said I do think there's a lot of trades that could happen, and a lot of trades that I want to see happen that I would love to put in a mock draft. So, but with pick 2, if there's going to be no trades, I'm going Dylan Harper. Obviously not the cleanest fit with Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox, but I do think he's the best player available. At his peak, he could be a 27 a game, 8 assists a game, 6 rebounds, just certified stat stuffing all-star. I think he's definitely gonna be a great player in this league, and I'm very excited to see how the Spurs handle this offseason because they have a lot of assets, a lot of future first-round picks. They have the 2nd and 14th overall picks in this draft. You got some contracts you can move, and Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes in a 1-year expiring deal. Man, you obviously got Wembanyama, Monk Wembanyama. That dude is, he could be the best player in the world in a year, 6 months. I don't think anybody would be shocked. The dude is crazy, bro. I'm very excited to see what they do. I think they have a lot of different avenues they could explore. By far my favorite avenue, which I'm going to have a video on it soon, is the Spurs trading for Lauri Markkanen. I think that is a home run fit, and you don't have to give up a lot of assets. Definitely going to have a video about that out soon. I think it's a home run move. But if they're sticking and picking, Dylan Harper's the pick. As far as Philadelphia 76ers, this is the one that is definitely, I think, a bit of a harder decision, 100% harder, because obviously Dylan Harper is, in most people's eyes, the second best player, like the wide majority. But when it comes to pick 3, you have 2 avenues you could explore. The win now avenue or the long-term avenue. If you're going long-term, I think Ace Bailey is the clear selection in my opinion. Because I think he has definitely, he could be, I don't think anybody would be shocked if he became the best player in his class. Well, I guess people would be shocked, but it wouldn't be insane is the tools are there, man. 6'9", 6'10", high level shot creator. Good shot on him. Great athleticism. The tools are just amazing. So I think long term Ace Bailey is the pick. If you're going short term, and these guys still have upside as well, but I don't think as much as Ace Bailey. Con Knipple, VJ Edgecombe are two guys I would look at. I think they can make contributions from day one. They're going to impact the game immediately. I do think Ace Bailey can impact the game off the rip as well with his shot making. I just think those guys are more safer, and the impact's going to be better early on. But I'm going to go with Ace Bailey. With Embiid's extensive injury history, who knows if he's going to be healthy next year, man. So I'm going to go with the guy who I think can be one of the best players in this draft class. I'm going to go with him, Ace Bailey. Pick 4, Charlotte Hornets. This is a team I think that is at a crossroads. Well, not a crossroads, but LaMelo could be on the move if he has another injured year. So I think they want to see a playoff push. And I think that's very possible in this Eastern Conference. So I want to pick a guy that can just help them win basketball games. And I'm looking at VJ Edgecombe and Carter Bryant. I'm ultimately going to select Carter Bryant. This is maybe, most people would probably consider this a rogue pick, but I think Carter Bryant is going to impact winning at a high level from day one with his play finishing ability, with his defense, and his floor spacing ability. I also think he has shot creation upside, and I just like him more than Edgecombe. I think he has more size, athleticism. Probably give Edgecombe the nod, but Carter Bryant has high level athleticism. I think Edgecombe would be a great pick as well. Either one would be great. I'd just go with Carter Bryant due to the size. And I think a little bit higher ceiling, in my opinion. At pick 5, the Utah Jazz. This is an interesting pick. I don't think they have a 1A cornerstone player that you'd hope for. If you've been, since they've been tanking the last 3 years, but not really the first 2 years because they competed. They tried to win. It felt like the first halves of the first 2 seasons of the Lauri Markkanen and Will Hardy regime, and then they traded a bunch of guys at the deadline, and then they tanked in the second half of the first 2 seasons. Last year they fully tanked 100%, but I think they kind of botched it the first 2 years. You either got to go for wins or tank. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to go one way. They kind of messed it up the first 2 years and kind of ruined their lottery odds. So they didn't really get a cornerstone those 2 years. This year, I think they got to hit on this pick. Simple as that. Cody Williams was a brutal pick last year. By no means is his career done, but I think he was selected a little bit too high. But it is what it is. Take that on the chin and move forward, and just hope he develops. But right here, I'm gonna go with the guy. This is a pick you don't see. I don't know if I've ever seen the Jazz take this guy, but I think this would be a great pick. I think the Jazz have to be different in some category than other teams, because right now they don't really have a superstar guy, so they have to, if they want to start to turn the ship around, they have to have an advantage, and the advantage that I'm going to give them is size, and I'm going to take Derek Queen. And I'm just going to roll out a big lineup. Markkanen, Queen, Kessler. I think that'd be very fun offensively and defensively. A lot of size, a lot of rebounding. And I think Queen would work very well with Markkanen and Kessler. This is just, an unconventional pick, probably in most people's eyes. But I think Derek Queen could be an all-star one time, or could be an all-star one day in this league. And I think his fit with Markkanen and Kessler would be very intriguing to me. Or is very intriguing to me. And I think, I think the one way you beat Oklahoma is with size. And this certainly gives you a lot of size. 7-foot Markkanen, 7-foot Kessler, 6'11", 6'10", Queen. A lot of size, a lot of skill with Markkanen and Queen. And some rebounding and defensive skill with Walker Kessler. So I think that'd be a very, very fun pick in my opinion. And I think the Jazz gotta be different than other teams in some category to really stand out in the West. And I think that's Dairy Queen makes them different than pretty much every team in the West because it makes them massive. It makes them absolutely massive. I would love that pick. Utah or the Washington Wizards at pick 6 would be a team I think would be very interested in Dairy Queen, but he is gone, so I'm gonna be going here. Malawach. I think that'd be a very fun fit with Alex Sarr, former second overall pick last season. I think defensively and offensively, that's a very intriguing long-term fit, long-term duo. The Twin Towers. I think Malawach could one day develop a three-point shot, and man, that'd be scary if he did. You should have two massive centers, or two big centers out there. Malawach is massive. Sarr, definitely big, but you'd have two guys that can space the floor potentially one day. Ooh, man. And then defensively, high level of protection. That would be very intriguing to me. And then, just let Malawach grow and develop next year and the year after that. And then hopefully next year you get one of the top 3 picks and get a 1A cornerstone to add to your already very young, talented roster. You got Corey Kispert, Koulibaly, Keyshawn George, Bud Carrington, Sarr, and now Malawach. Bang, that sounds like a very high-level infrastructure to put around one of those big 3 next year. Sounds like a very fun team for maybe AJ DeBansta, Darren Peterson, maybe Boozer. Ooh, they could build a fantastic infrastructure for your future star. Pick 7, the New Orleans Pelicans. This is the team. You got talented guards in DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum. You got wings, Herb Jones, Trigger Trey, Zion, of course. You got Yves Messi at center. So, you got a lot of really good players that have the guard, the wing, and the center. But here, I think I'm just going to take, I'm between Yakachonis, Edgecombe, and Knipple. I think those are the 3 best players here for the Pelicans. And ultimately, I'm just going to bet on Edgecombe and his athleticism profile, his upside. I think, off the rip, he's going to be a good defender. So I'm just going to bet on the upside of VJ Edgecombe and just take him there if I think it's a good value. I think Yakachonis would be a great pick there as well. Maybe a trade down spot, acquire some picks, trade back for somebody that wants Edgecombe, and trade back and draft Knipple or Yakachonis, maybe even Trey Johnson or Fears. At pick 8, the Brooklyn Nets. This is a team, I think, that could literally go any position, guard, wing, center. Here I'm going to go with I like all 4 of these names here. The top 4. I think I'm going to take. Man, this is a really tough pick here. I'm going to go with Yakachonis. I think he can really be the floor general for this team. I think he's got scoring upside. I like the size. I think Trey Johnson, Knipple, and Fears can be great picks as well. I think he could go any way, but I'm going to go with Yakachonis for now. The Toronto Raptors at pick 9. This is a team that's got a lot of talent at every position as well. Here could be a pick that's traded 100%, but here I'm going to take. Man, this is a tough pick. It really is. I think Malawach would have been a home run pick here for him. Not on the board. Queen not on the board. I think a little too early for Thomas Swarber. I'm single con. Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go Colin Knipple. I think RJ Barrett could definitely be traded, so Colin Knipple kind of take his minutes, and just be a great player to put next to Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram, space the floor, break down a defense inside the paint or inside the mid-range area. I like Colin Knipple there a lot. So now the Rockets, pick 10. This could be another team that trades their pick. But, in this mock draft, we're going to have no trades. And also, I don't know if I mentioned, but this is a what I would do mock. Not what I think's going to happen, but a what I would do. So, yeah. I have had some spicy picks in here, but, it's what I would do. So, I have some different opinions, that are different than consensus. But, hey, I think, different than consensus is, it's all right. It makes the videos a little more spicy. And, you know, every year there's guys that aren't consensus top 5 guys or mocked in the top 5 that turn out to be top 5 players in the class one day. So, you know, consensus is never 100% correct. It's right. It's definitely right here and there, you know, but there's always guys that, you know, when you do a mock draft or do a redraft a year later that rise up heavily. So consensus is never the be-all, end-all. I try to just go with my gut and, you know, honestly just rank guys on how good I think they're going to be in the NBA. And sometimes I stray away from consensus, and I think it's okay, in my opinion. All right, so the Houston Rockets here. Fears, I mean, he's a value here, of course. Got a lot of steam, at, you know, as high as pick 5 to the Jazz. But with Reed Shepherd, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Colin Murray Boyles is a pick that intrigues me here. His defensive chops. Rasheer Fleming here. Ultimately, I'm going to go Trey Johnson. I don't know if I've ever mocked Trey Johnson to the Rockets, but honestly, I love the fit. Holy. His 3-point shooting ability to put next to Men Thompson and Şengün. Ooh, man. I mean, he could go as high as 3, so I think that's great value for the Rockets. Love that selection. Portland, man, another team, like the Raptors, like the Pelicans, that has a lot of players at guard, at wing, at center. So I'm just going to go best available here for them. But honestly, Fears, I don't know if you don't want Fears and Scoot, you know? So I guess can't really go best available here. Man, this is a really hard pick to make here. You have really good wings in Denny and Tumani Kamara. You have guards that you like in Scoot and Shaden. Jeremy Grant probably be traded, but you have a center that you like and Klingon. I think right here I'm going to continue the defensive approach. I'm going to take Cedric Howard. I think Cedric Howard has a lot of upside. Big hands, big wingspan. Good kid. Legendary story, D3 to Duke. I think you could roll out a starting lineup of Scoot, Coward, Denny, Kamara, Klingon. Ooh, I like that. You know, that Shane Sharp there still as well. But I'm going to go Coward. I love his upside. I think, you know, he could be a 3-level scorer one day at the NBA level. Contribute heavily on the defensive end. Space the floor. I like Coward a lot. I would love Coward on the Bulls. I think that'd be a great fit. But he's off the board, unfortunately. Here, I think, I'm going to take the dude that was just measured in as 6'11" barefoot. 6'11" barefoot. So then he's 7 foot with shoes on. I'm going to take the swing here. And I'm taking Noah Asenge. This is an upside swing. A guy that could be a top 5 player in this class one day. And I'm going to add him to this Chicago Bulls team that needs wings. Pick 13 here. The Atlanta Hawks. This is a team I like a lot going into next year. I mean, you got to start a lineup that's Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Risha Shea, Jalen Johnson, Double O. Like that a lot. I would love Cedric Howard here. That'd be a home run fit, in my opinion. Off the board, sadly. Jeremiah Fears, I don't like that. Murray Boyles. It intrigues me. But I'm going to go with Adu Thero, wing from Arkansas. I think the Hawks would like to get some wings. I would have loved to get Coward with his just a better shooting ability. But I do think Thero can shoot at the next level. I like his form. Get with the right shooting coach, I think he can become a very, very above average 3-point shooter. But his play finishing ability, his defensive ability would fit so well with Trae Young, man. I think he's got upside, absolutely. I love Thiero. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. I think he's being criminally underrated inside of this draft. I think he should be a top 15, top 20 pick lock. Wouldn't even be mad if he went top 10. I wouldn't be mad. I love his upside on the defensive and offensive end. I love Edu Thiero. I think he'd be a home run selection for the Atlanta Hawks. Pick 14, the San Antonio Spurs. This pick definitely could be traded. Definitely could, but we're not doing trades in this mock. So, I think a team would definitely try to jump up for Fears, but we're going to stay put. So you have Dylan Harper. A lot of guys I like here, really do. Yeah, Nick Clifford. I think, I'm going to go with Rasheer Fleming. The wingspan is nuts, 7'5" or 7'6", one of the two. I think 3-point shot, he can be a shooter at the next level. I'm just betting the upside of that size and athleticism profile. The Spurs need some backup bigs. I think he'd fit well with Wemby. Just being a defensive pest at that size and athletic profile, athleticism that he has. So I'm going to go with Rasheer Fleming. Pick 15, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Fears is fallen, but they have topic. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Clifford, yeah. I could see that. This could be a pick I definitely could see traded on draft night. I think I'm going to go with Colin Murray Boyles. I think Presti would love his defense. I'm not going to love his shot. But, get him with Chip Engled and really just grind shooting. And if he can become a floor spacer, oh boy, you got a value. I think Fears could be in play. They just take the best available player and just continue to stack assets. But I'm going to go with Colin Murray Boyles there. His defense would fit right in. And his offensive slashing ability would fit right in. Get him a shot and bang. Oh boy, that could be a massive pick for the Thunder. Magic here, run at the podium, Jeremiah Fears. Shot creator, shooter, playmaker, athletic. He's got a lot of upside. Don't think he's the safest prospect, but I think he's got a lot of upside, and I think he's what the Magic need. So I'm going to have them taking Jeremiah Fears at pick 16. Minnesota Timberwolves, another pick that could be in the move. But sticking to picking, as we said earlier. Man. With this pick, I'm going to go with, I like Chase Richardson a lot. Man. But with the selection of Rob Dillingham, you're probably not going to go that route. Honestly, you know what? I'm going Chase Richardson. His defensive upside. I think he can play off the ball. I think, you can develop him into a playmaker. I think the Wolves could use a guard if Nah leaves. If Nicky Alexander Walker leaves, I think he would be a really good replacement for him. So I'm going to go Chase Richardson there to the Timberwolves. Pick 18 to the Washington Wizards. I'm going to take the swing on Yegor Dimon. Just take the high upside swing. I think the Nets would love to take the swing on him, but I'm going to just take that swing with the Wizards. He's got the size, playmaking ability. He got high upside, man. Low floor, yes, but high upside, and I think he's definitely worthy of a swing at this point in the draft, especially when it's your second pick. In the case of the Washington Wizards. Brooklyn Nets here. I think I would go with Hugo Gonzalez intrigues me. Drake Powell intrigues me. Kalkbrenner, Raynaud intrigue me. I'm going to go with Sorber. His defensive upside. Claxton could be traded, so I'm going to go with him. Send him to the Nets. I'm not a massive fan of Sorber, but the defensive upside is 100% there. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with him in the Nets. Miami Heat. I feel like Nick Clifford feels so like a Miami Heat player. Oh my. I'm gonna go Drake Powell. I feel like he feels like an upside swing. 19 years old, 6'6". I'm gonna go with him for the upside swing. We'll just let Spoelstra work with him. I think he's gonna be a menace on the defensive end. Let the Heat work with him on offense. I think he could be a great wing to pair with Kawhi Ware, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. Pick 21, the Utah Jazz selected Derek Queen. I think right here, we'll slide them Nick Clifford. Let's give him a wing. Kind of a do-it-all wing. 9.6 rebounds a game is crazy. Probably should have him higher, honestly. He seems like a winning player. But have the Jazz get him. I think Derek Queen, Nick Clifford. Oh my, what a haul. What a haul. I think they could really, maybe the Jazz make a play-in push if they have a trade as well. Man, they could make a push. The Hawks with the 22nd pick. I'm going to have them selecting a lot of options here. I think I'm going to go with a spark plug off the bench. Walter Clayton. Spark plug. Just get a high-level shooter off the bench. Have him in when Trae Young's out. Put him with Dyson Daniels when Trae's out. I like that a lot. I think Walter's being underrated in this draft. I think he's going to be an amazing spark plug at the next level. He's going to be a high-level shooter. So I think that'd be a great pick for the Hawks just to improve the bench depth. I think Asa Newell would be a good pick as well. Liam McNeely would be a good pick. But I'm ultimately going to go a six-man guy and draft Walter Clayton. Pacers at 23. I feel like they need a backup big, so I'm going to go with Asa Newell. Thomas Bryant's been serviceable this playoffs, but go with a younger guy. Get Newell on the roster, develop him. I think he could be something one day. Thunder up again, man, crazy. I think this pick, they're not going to draft two guys. They have two guys on the roster right now. But I think they're only going to use one of these picks and trade with another one, probably for a future first. But if I had to take a guy here, I'd probably would take. Honestly, I'm going to take Maringer and probably stash him overseas. Just let him play or play him in the G League. You need some big man depth with Hartenstein probably leaving due to the second apron in a couple of years. So, just develop him. I think, Raynound and Daniel will be intriguing for them as well. Wizards here. I think McNeely. Just get more shooting in the roster. Get more shooting, man. Need shooting. You got another shooter. Brooklyn Nets. I think right here. I think I'm going to go Hugo Gonzalez. Take an upside swing. Had a great measurements just come out recently. Just take the upside swing. The guys played very well against Team America in the international stage. Taking the swing. Nets are up again. Nolan Traore, Dylan Wolf are players here I would like for them. Raynound, Kalkbrenner. I think you just take the upside swing on Raynound, honestly. Get him a sword ring. Take the swing, man. That shooting ability, that size. Take the swing. This is a big pick for the Boston Celtics right here. Will Riley's on the board. And Kalkbrenner I like a lot for him. And honestly, I'm going to go Kalkbrenner. Porzingis could be traded. What's the big man's name? Trying to blank right now. Luke Cornett, he's probably going to leave. So I'm going to take Kalkbrenner. Run that center for him next year. I like his, just a safe player, I think. Phoenix Suns. I think Traore will be a great pick here. Try to get your point guard of the future. Take a swing on him. And then the Clippers right here. Will Riley, Danny Wolf. Two guys I like here. Man, a lot of these guys went back to college. Holy. I want to go Danny Wolf. Get it back up big. Alright guys, that's the mock. This is what I would do mock draft, no trades. I'll be coming out with my mock draft with trades very soon, probably in the coming days. Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. I'm very excited for this draft. As I mentioned before, I think there's so much variance of what could happen on draft night. Not really a consensus after pick 2, and man, I'm stoked. Thanks y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a great day. Peace out.